Okay, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you've got questions for John, just raise your hand and we'll get you a mic.
Hey, John. With Manoah, it looked like he was going well through the middle there. When it did come time for that mound meeting when he had to be lifted, could you walk us through your side, your experience in that?
Yeah, I fucked up. Forgot Pete went out there. We were talking about a lot of different stuff. Liked what he was doing, and he liked the matchup. I won't share what was said on the mound from him. Initially, which kind of took me back and made me laugh a little bit. But I think it. Regardless of my fuck up, it was the right time to get him out and get Timmy in there.
And I think the broadcast showed you guys quickly talking in the dugout. Is there anything you can share about what you guys talked about afterwards and how that went?
No, I thought he threw the ball really well, and it's a really good step in the right direction for Alec. I thought his command was good. Slider was back a little bit today, and I thought overall his stuff was good. So in that exact moment, it was him wanting to continue to compete, and I think that going forward, hopefully that's what we can kind of get out of Alec. More of what we've been seeing for 2 years.
It looked like the switch didn't flip for him until the second inning. The first inning, he didn't throw any first pitch strikes, and those first three balls to start the game. Was there something that changed in between?
Well, I thought coming back in the first at bat against Cedric after the 3 balls to strike him out was good, and then gets through the first, and they've hit a couple homers that just get over the fence. I don't think he's kind of a slow builder. When he starts, he kind of gets better as he goes a little bit. But I don't think anything really, flipped other than kind of him, understanding that he had good stuff and wanting to be out there and compete.
Any update on Espinal?
Yeah, right hammy discomfort. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Sorry, Skip, for my small brain. I wanted to be clear on what you said earlier. But when you went out, did you intend to take Manoah out, and then he talked you out of it, and then you had to take him out?
No,
anyway?
I mean, I had to take him out because Pete had made a visit, and there was so much other stuff we were talking about, me, Donnie, and Pete in the dugout. I kind of just lost track of the fact that he's out of the game no matter what when I come out, so after already making a mound visit. So if Pete hadn't made the mound visit, I would have left him in there. That's what we were talking about in the mound.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you had not, even though you'd gone out, you weren't at that point intending to lift
Correct.
him. Okay, thanks.
And it won't happen again. It's a one-time thing.
George Springer had a pretty good homer. Does it feel like he's coming around?
Yeah, I think so. His bats have been pretty good, pretty consistent over the last few days, and hitting the ball hard. Double off Cano yesterday, homer today. I think his at bats has just been kind of back to what we're used to seeing out of him.
Swanson was so good for you guys for weeks and weeks. The last few have been a little more of a struggle. Are you noticing anything different with him?
No, maybe just a little bit of command. It's tough right there. Kind of a long. He sat there for a while in between innings, and but I think overall just the command, the execution has been pretty good, and I think when he's getting his heater where he wants to, that's where the split comes into play. So I think it just comes down to a little bit of execution. I think.
John, with Danny Jansen, he's had a hell of a week with the walk-offs and then again today. What are you seeing that's actually getting better and leading to this, whether it be in his swing, his approach, what's helping him?
He's swinging at the right pitches, understanding where he can handle the ball in the zone, and he's swinging at those pitches. Jano's shown it for a while that he can do damage and he can put together a good bat to ball skills, but I think right now it's just he's in a good little groove and he's swinging at the right pitches.
I know you've been through this enough that you have the long view and let the season breathe and all of that, but how frustrating has this week been overall?
Yeah, overall, yeah. I mean, shitty week. It's a tough part of the schedule. We knew that, when we saw it. We knew it months ago, and it is what it is. It's not going to get any easier. Every team in the league is good, so it doesn't matter if you're playing a team in the AL East or the AL Central, the NL West. Teams are good, and every night is going to be a battle. But yeah, I think this team is. I always look back to what we talk about in spring training. This is a very talented team. This is. We're 2 for 15 at runners in scoring position, which means we have 15 chances to get somebody in, which means we're doing something right. So, right now, the season has so many ups and downs, and right now it's just one of those things where everything seems like it's not going our way, and it takes one day. It takes one day. You got Kevin Gausman tomorrow, which you love, and hopefully you just win tomorrow and build off of that.
Does it remind you all of last year when, like the middle of May, you guys had a 2-7 against Cleveland and New York and all that?
I mean, it's a totally different team, totally different feel, different vibe, different everything. I mean, I think you can kind of say it about any season. There's going to be good parts and there's going to be bad parts. And you got to just weather the storm. You got to continue to just do what you're good at. You know, there's a lot of good things that we did today between, you know, at-bats on the bases, you know, defensively. There's so many good things to talk about. So it's just, you got to take it for what it is. And compared to last year, you know, it's tough to compare. I know record-wise it's about the same, whatever it was last year, but it's a totally different group of guys, and it's a different year, different feel. So hopefully you just flush it. You get out there tomorrow, you compete your ass off, and you have a good flight to Tampa.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
All right, raise your hands and I will get you the mic.
Try to keep the microphone standing up today.
John in the back here, just one win in these last two series against New York and Baltimore. What do you think your team needs to do differently to get some better results?
Just, get hits when we need to. We have tons of chances, and just not really coming through. You know, the double plays today by George and KK, it's kind of at the point where it's, enough's enough. You know what I mean? You're waiting for it to turn. It will. Not I think it will. I know it will. But in order to get there, I mean, the guys are just going to have to continue to work their asses off to do it and not just expect that it's going to happen. You got to work your ass off for it to happen, and totally confident that they will.
Obviously, you kind of touched on it there. When you're in a rut with runners in scoring position, what's the fix? Is it just wait it out? Is it extra cage work? What do you do?
Nah, I mean, the work every day is consistent, and right now when it kind of snowballs like this, I think you want to do a little bit too much, and you can't. You got to reel it in. You have to stay with your approach. You have to understand what pitchers are doing. There was probably a total of about 100 cutters thrown at us today, so you gotta see that, and you gotta just adjust a little bit. So when it does happen, it'll be as shitty as it is right now. It'll be the exact opposite when it does happen.
When you mentioned staying with your approach, carrying over to not in the batter's box too, we saw a couple of outs on the bases. We saw Vladdy try to make the hero throw early in the game. Do you see that maybe they're trying to do a little bit too much there too?
I don't think so, no. I think, first on the bases, Belt going to third, that was a mishap. Kevin had the bag stolen and overslid the bag, and Witt was probably just too aggressive there. It's a pretty easy bag off Bauman if he's just a little bit patient. And I think the defensive part with Vlad, you're playing the infield in, your natural instinct is to try to get the runner at home, and I think he trusts his arm enough. But in that situation, you kind of just take your medicine and get an out. But I don't think one has to do with another, no.
Hey, John, obviously the last week has been fairly emotional at times. How would you describe what the team has gone through, and I guess more importantly, how have they handled it over the last two series?
They've handled it extremely well. Just in talking to them after the game in there today, it's tough. It's a tough grind. No matter who you're playing, AL East, NL West, it's tough. Every team is good, and it's tough to win every night. If they were not competing and battling, then you go, okay, what are we doing? But I mean, the effort is there, the results are not. So they're handling it very well, or as well as you can. You hate going through stretches like this, but they're handling it well.
John, what do you make of Gossman today? I think season high in pitch count as well.
Yeah, he was awesome. He probably will tell you he didn't really have his best splitter. It wasn't really carrying the zone as much as it has, but I mean, 8 innings, what else can you ask for with a pretty taxed bullpen? And I think that's what elite pitchers do. He was absolutely phenomenal today.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.